Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, I give you BVO.
Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know. Shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know. Every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know. I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show. This is BVO.
The JBT is back at it again, y'all. This time, amazing raffle for the holidays. Replenish the pocket. Sometimes things go grim and, you spend a little bit more than you anticipated, but we're here to help you out. $5 to get you in, $20 to get you in 5 times for winner takes half. Hold on. I didn't know that was the details, y'all. Hold on. Cut.
Hey, Remo.
Hey, yo, Karen, why y'all ain't let me know that the prize was winner takes half? Now, this is dope.
It's been running for some time now, silly.
Is JBT a content creator ought to get into this?
Absolutely not. Are you crazy?
No.
Nope.
Wow, that's crazy.
No content creator, just JBT supporters, sorry.
Whatever. Bye. Like I was saying, $5 to get you in 1 time, $20 to get you in 5 times. Winner takes half. You can't win if you don't play, man. Jump in the raffle. JBT Network 1 is the way you get in. Leave your name and the means of contact. And enjoy the holidays on us, JBT. Peace.
Merry Christmas. Yo, what's up? It's your boy, BVO Boxing, man, a.k.a., man, the Black Santa Claus coming straight to the ghetto, man. What's going on, man? Today we got a big show. Shout out to my man, Brother Bernard Hackett. I seen him on there. I see you, baby. You a star now, man. You a star now. Shout out to my man, Brother Bernard Hackett. We got him coming on Wednesday. We had a special guest. He's going to reschedule. But big show today, man. We all love our Christmas hams and our Christmas turkey, and I think Brother Vergil is gonna bring us some Christmas duck with Boots Ennis with a little Philly cheesesteak sauce on it. How everybody doing, man? Shout out to my man GP, aka I come to work when I want to.
Yo, what it did? I did.
Shout out to my man Curly Chop, aka Prize, and we got the legend himself, man. Mr. Trill Hill. What's going on, brothers? How y'all doing today?
What's good?
I'm good, my brother.
Good. So I'm going to ask everybody this up front. Did y'all see a dear friend of the show, man, going back and forth with Brother Bill Haney? What you guys think about that?
Did we see who going back and forth with Bill Haney?
I don't know if you guys have seen Bill Haney was going back and forth with our dear brother, man, Brother Bernard Hackett. What did you guys think about that?
Make the fight. You the A side. You the A side. Send that man a contract.
He a bum and all the other stuff that you said. He was not in his level and league and all that stuff. Just make the fight, dog. Show us why Devin is the new face of boxing.
Man, I love it. I love to see both of the fathers going at it. They keep us watching. Promoters.
Yeah, we need more of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it.
I don't get excited when I see these dads and these promoters. I don't get excited like I used to. When the fighters start doing it, that's a little thing. But when Bill and Brother Bernard, I'm not worried about that. Nothing gonna transpire out of that but views, talk.
I think. My bad, bro.
No, that's not good. Go ahead, T.
I just think what Bernard said after the fight happened and somebody took to Twitter or Instagram or whatever they took to was poignant. Look, you feel that way? Make us an offer. We'll gladly accept the fight, and we can find out what it really is. And until then, it's all conjecture. It's all promo. It's all a build up. I want to see the fight. Hey, I'm happy to see the fight.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
shout out to that.
even Jaleel got in there. Jaleel was like, you call me a bum, I'm trash or whatever. I don't like you. You obviously don't like me. Let's make the fight. Jaleel got straight to it. Let's make the fight.
Yeah, but I
I'm
don't know
coming
about going right at Devin Haney, man. But I'll say
just
this, man. I'll
I'm
say this.
coming from another perspective. Like yo, the fathers have been the promoters in them kids' lives for real. It haven't been the power. You know what I mean? It been the fathers for real. So I like to see them two square off with the jaw jacking. I think that's cool.
And I got my favorite Cuban in the house, man, because I might have to make a run. I'm either have my favorite Puerto Rican or favorite Cuban hop in the moderator seat because I got to do a little bit. Let me ask you guys this, man. What do you think about my man Bill saying, "Watch how you talk to an 8-figure nigga"? What you guys think about that?
Well, that's my kind of talk. So, I don't have a problem with it. And if Bill want to flex like that, then go ahead. He earned it. He put himself and his son in position to do what he want and say what he want. And people, like this is my thing about it. If Devin Haney and them go, like I keep telling y'all, if they go in there and lose every fight, if they go lose their next or they win, they might win some, lose some on the way. When as Devin Haney career moves forward, it's okay. It's okay. Our favorite fighters got multiple losses, and it's okay. It's the same thing with the young boys. So I'm alright with the talk. I'm alright with the flexing. I'm alright with the trash talk. Let's just get it. Let's just get some fights going, though.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask you
I'm with it,
guys
man.
this, man, before I get out of here. Now, it's people out there, including myself, to say, you know what? Salute to my man Billy, man. My brother's always in the house. Salute to my man Ace Boogie in the house. What do you think about a guy like Jalil Hackett when I say he's at the wrong weight class? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, if he losing to that level of competition, man, if he letting that dude outwork him, because Jalil Hackett is a work monster. His stamina is normally crazy. He's a machine. And to be outworked at the end of a fight, it might be a sign, man, that it's time to move up a little, man, and you might feel a little more fresh, a little more replenished.
I thought he got a bad ending of a decision. I thought he did some nice work. I don't see how they gave that guy all them rounds, but they put them in box. They put them in Puerto Rico somewhere, so you never know, man. That's why, these judges, they just can do whatever they want. It's a fact. They can do what they want, and that's why I say they need to be investigated by the FBI. When you see them bad decisions like that, somebody need to go check them out, see what they into. Corruption and all of that. Let's clean this sport up. If not, it's gonna keep happening over and over and over and over again.
Yeah,
I,
yeah. I mean, like I said, I think Jalil is fine at 147. Maybe, I mean, it might have been him having to travel over to Puerto Rico or whatever. I mean, I mean, we never heard about him having trouble make weight the first prior to this. And everybody go through it once
is
or
it
twice
just me?
in their
Is you
career.
still there, Free?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
bad.
everybody go through it once or twice in this career in their career. So it's not like he's the first to ever have a problem with making weight. It just if it becomes a continuing problem, then you might have to say, hey, you might need to either get a nutritionist or you might need to move up. But right now, I mean, he's only 21. He's a young dude, so I think he can get his weight under control. Because when you at that age, you can gain weight and drop weight quickly. So I think he can get it under control. It just he might have to pay attention to what he's taking in a little bit more.
Yeah, you're right about that, D Free. But people he's 21, he had a setback. People if y'all want to say he was robbed, all right, cool. I thought he won the fight too. I'm with y'all. I don't know about robberies and all that, but that was lame. He should have won that, bro. Like,
Yeah.
But he's young, so he had a minor setback when he's young. It's best to happen to him now, so he can just keep it pushing. So it's all good. Like he a young boy, he know what he ain't make no excuses after the fight. He blamed himself, which was I thought was super mature, and I think he'll be all right because he know deep down in his heart that boy ain't win that fight. And hey Jalil, that you know that boy ain't win that fight. So it's all good. Keep it pushing. Go back on, work on what you can work on. You're 21. Do what you can do. Hit the gym. Work on what you need to work on. Then come back because you still got fans over here.
I'll
Hey,
just
Yeah.
say
Fry.
this, man.
Hey,
Shout
Fries. I
out to
think
the Cuban. Let me say this real quick. Shout out to the Cuban for keeping it real. I see we are politically correct up here today. I see they say the show getting watered down, but we got to be real here, man. The dude is big as hell, and he needs to be at 160. Look at Jalil. You say he don't have trouble making weight. He might not have trouble making weight, but the same thing happened again. Same thing we seen in the Pistol Pete fight. Pistol Pete really started bringing it to him at the end. Same thing in his last fight. When it comes to the end, he's having a hard time getting to the finish line. I just think he needs to be at 60, man. He just needs to be at 60.
I think
I don't know what's up with these guys cutting 20 plus pounds to make a weight class. And I love Brother Bernard and I love Jaleel, but he just had the wrong weight class, man. And we gotta just be honest and say, you know what? I think for you to have the career that you should have, you might have to go up.
Would you
And
thought he
let's not
looked tired, BVO? You
and
thought he looked tired? You
not
keep saying
I,
wait though.
he right
because
though.
that's
He
what it
right, Fries. I
was.
want to say
That's
something.
what it was. Hey,
He
Tommy.
absolutely right.
Let me
It's
let me
not that
hold on one second. GP, I'm agreeing. Tommy, can you tell us?
Yeah.
Can you tell us that old saying? Isn't it that your conditioning will make a coward out of a man, something like that?
They, what was that? Andre Ward said that I heard him say. Fatigue makes a coward of us all.
And,
Yeah, I don't think Hackett lost the fight. I think he won that fight, but at the end he got a little out hustle, and when you on foreign soil, you can't be getting out hustle in the end. Again, he should have got the victory, but it is what it is. It's not the end of the world for him.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Tommy, you
it
right about that. He did get
it.
out hustled just a little
I
bit.
mean, it like I said, it might not even been the fact that he was fatigued. It could have been the fighter that he was facing was saving his energy for the later rounds. He could have just been saving his energy. That's why he lost so many of the earlier rounds. He could have just been saving his energy for the later round. That's why he seemed like a little more fresher than Hatchet. It could have just been that because he wasn't doing nothing the first 4 or 5 rounds. He was just trying to get out of the way of the body shots. He wasn't doing no work. That's why I gave Hatchet the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then the back half you can say they might have swapped here and there, around here, around there. But no, it could have just been a guy was preserving their energy, and another guy was just pressing the fight because even in the later half of that fight, Jalil was still the one that was coming forward. It wasn't like he was on the back foot. He was coming forward.
he was getting smashed coming forward. I mean, that's what I mean when I say like we gotta be honest. It's the
BBO.
exact same thing we seen. It's the exact
and
same
he
thing we
didn't
seen.
disagree with you. They ain't disagree with you.
No, I'm just saying it's the exact same thing we seen when he fought Pistol Pete. You know, it used to be an old saying. I gotta say this, man, because I want to make sure we get this out here. My mother used to say this thing all the time. What you do at home will show out. So when we seen him in there, with Pistol Pete, we said, oh yeah, Pistol Pete was a strong veteran, blah blah blah. But there wasn't a game plan. It was nothing more than there's no way he should be at 147. Jalil Hackett, if you look at him, he does not need to be at 147. He's too big. And
Something.
I think
Ho
that's
ho
okay to say.
ho ho ho, because I
That's
got and
go ahead.
that's what I want to agree with. I want to agree with BVO with Jalil Hackett is too big for 47, and the only way for him to go is up. He can't bang with them elusive guys. At 40, 54 would be cool for him. Like it would be cool for him, but now he had a platform where you gotta show out. 54 is dangerous. Like
You know,
I think he probably gonna have to go back to the drawing board. I was impressed with his fight, actually. I think he won the fight. Um, I think he got robbed. Well, not robbed. I don't think he got robbed. What I think is
Bad end of the decision, like you
yo,
call it, GP.
man, with the crowd and the commentators and the referee. Oh my God, he's the worst. Like with the holding. Come on, man. He
I felt like
definitely.
that whole card was just not entertaining to me. Period.
Hey,
But
well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you my favorite Cuban, Tommy. What would happen if you dare put your hands over Roberto Duran and hold him? He's
On
going to
what?
elbow the crap out of you. Go ahead. Tell him what happens when you touch Duran like that.
If you say that again, baby, I hear you.
I said, what happens when you put your hands on Roberto Duran like that? What happens when you try to hold Duran?
Well, Durant fires, man. Durant fire. He's gonna be active. He's gonna be active on the inside, the outside. He's gonna fire off.
I'm talking about the fact.
these dudes ain't Durant, BVO.
Remember how he used to do his arm? Or you remember how when Floyd was always synonymous with that dirty putting his forearm in your
Oh,
mouth.
when he puts forearm up in your throat. Yeah,
You
Durant was
can't.
good for that too.
These are things. These are things that I know they know to do. But I think fatigue will make a coward out of anybody. And if you look at Jaleel, what's that same famous saying we say that I think is crazy? I think the man blew his load way too early. Pause. Double pause. And I think this, and I say this because I want to be fair and I want to be precise. No matter how you move this conversation, man, let's make weight easy. Judge Mills Lane said it best. You should be fighting within 10 pounds of your walk around weight. So I'm looking at your little hack. He probably walks around about 170. He looks like he's about 170 when he walks around. Go to 60. Go to 60, and I guarantee we'll see the Jaleel Hackett that we want to see, the black Mexican. But we're not going to see him at 47 because guess what? Errol Spence already showed us the blueprint. If you go to a weight class too long, there's a huge opportunity for you not to be who you should be. And if you're 21 years old struggling to make weight, what's going to happen when you're 23 years old, 22 years old? You don't get smaller as you get older, you get bigger. But on that note, I'm gonna let you brothers finish up the cook. But you know, BVO gotta come get some insight. Shout out to my man, what did my man Tommy call me, loquacious Aunt McQueen, aka get your hand out of my pocket, nigga. It's in the house, and I'm gone. Go ahead, y'all. Peace.
Excuse me.
Finally, we got some sense going on up in here. I don't know what video was talking about, dog. The man didn't even miss weight.
Right, that's what I was trying to
He didn't
say.
even miss weight.
I'm like, did he miss? Did I miss something? Because I'm like, damn. I'm like, yo, for like the son miss weight because I'm tweaking over here. Like, did I
No,
miss something?
he
Because
didn't. He didn't miss weight.
I mean, he might have been in a tough fight or whatever, and he, might like the homie said he might have got like outworked a little bit, but I still feel like he banked enough rounds where he should have won the fight. I don't want to go too far. People love to use the word robbery. They use robbery very loosely. Robbery, duck. You all know the words, the new words in today's boxing. So I don't want to start getting off say it was a robbery, but it was a bad decision. I think it was bad where they should be investigated by the FBI. It's that bad. But again, he's a young man. He made mistakes, and he's gonna live from it. Because I like the way he sound after. He still sound confident after the fight, where he was like, you can't leave it into the judge's hands. Basically, it's on me. You know what I mean? And I think he's gonna go back to the gym and work and be hungry and come back
I
better.
think what happened. I think what happened to Jalil is the same thing that has happened to Oshaki Foster. The dude that he was fighting was a guy that was contemplating whether he's going to retire or not. They gave him the belt before he retired, and then they might get a rematch, and then he'll go ahead and go off into the sunset. That's the same thing they did with Oshaki Foster with the daggone the Robert Kasakian fight. They wanted Robert Kasakian to become a champion before he hangs it up, and they gave the decision to Robert Kasakian. I think it's the same thing because even though Prize don't want to call it, I'm gonna call it a robbery because those first 4 or 5 rounds,
That's cool.
there was not a single round that you could tell me that this guy won.
Right.
I didn't see not one single round in the first 4 or 5 rounds.
Right.
And then, like I said, the back half, there was a couple of rounds you could say, okay, the guy did some nice work in that one. You could gave it to him, but there was some rounds where you could have
7
gave
and
to
10.
Swing rounds, free. It was a couple of swing rounds in the back,
yeah.
you know?
There was, like I said, there was a couple of rounds you could have gave it a round or two you could have gave it clearly for the dude, and then there was a round or two that you could have clearly gave for Jalil. So like I said, I think he did enough to win that fight 6-4, but at the worst, it would be a draw. I didn't see that dude won 6 rounds. There's no way you could tell me that dude won 6 rounds. I
That's
didn't
my
see it.
thing,
Well, it
D
was
free.
and free. It was split decision. It was split decision.
Yeah.
I agree with the split decision. Who me and you choose, I don't think that really matter for real. So Jalil absolutely right with that. He didn't do enough, but I think he did enough. But I'm not a judge. You know what I mean? I'm not a judge. I'm a fan. And Jalil did an excellent job. He just got a lot to work on. He got a whole lot to work on because like he couldn't trap the kid. He wasn't, the setups wasn't there. His defense was great. Jalil's defense was great. But you know he got a lot to work on. And that I don't know if 47 good for him right now. Like I think he should move up.
Nah.
I'm looking at his flat feet. He should probably move up. But
Nope.
guys take it.
I'm gonna tell you right now. He might need to move up, but not right now. Not right now. No, 54 is not a weight class that Jalil need to be at right now, because Jalil is not somebody that's gonna go backwards. He's gonna keep pressing forward. And right now, there's some monsters at 54.
I agree. I'm not changing the subject, but Haney had the same I felt the same with Haney. Like he kinda in limbo because at 47 you're really not elusive enough. I don't feel he was elusive enough. He was very flat footed. He was taking shots that he didn't have to take. His defense was great, but he was taking shots that he didn't have to take and cutting off the ring. So I believe it's a learning curve. I wouldn't call out the big names yet, but
But that's the thing. If you say he's not elusive enough at 47, he ain't gonna be elusive at 54, because that's the style of fighting that he fights. He fight that way.
I know that's more of a 54 style though.
Yeah, but you dealing with bigger punchers at 54.
True, I agree. That's why
I said, I just think he need to. Because I don't see him having problem making weight. I don't see him having problem. Like I said, he didn't miss weight. He made weight. He didn't miss it. And I believe he came in at 140. 147.
He looked pretty in shape to me, free. I don't understand why this is even a topic as far as his weight and the way he looks.
I forgot. I think it was either the commentator or it was somebody that before the fight had happened, they said they saw Jalil in a hotel trying to lose the last couple of pounds or something like that. This is before he got on the scale. So I don't know if he was actually trying to lose weight or not, or if he was just in there working out. I don't know what he was doing because I didn't see the video.
I'm not going off of what we don't know what.
No, I'm saying that's what people heard that, and they running with him having problem making the weight. So
I'm not gonna.
I'll tell you what, though, man. It's one aspect of the weight thing I'm looking at too. You know, if let's just say he could hold 154 well, and he feels like he could perform 154, I think there's more earning potential at 154 than there is at 47.
Yeah, it's more earning potential.
You got to consider that, man. That's a real life consideration.
Yeah, but it's
do you
also
think there's more earning potential in the interim for him?
Right.
Like right now, like realistically, out of these big fights at 154, would he be able to jump the line? Would he be better suited to try to?
Hell no.
No, I don't think that he'd jump the line and get right in with like a Vergil Ortiz, but if you get a decent name for better paydays than he's seen at 147 though.
Nah, I think actually
Erickson Lubin or somebody.
where he's ranked at right now, where he's ranked at 47, he go to 54, he's going to be ranked even lower. He's going to be ranked even lower
but
at
that
54.
caters more to his style, though. That caters more to his style that he brought a few days ago. That caters more to his style.
But what I'm saying is, when he go to 54, he's going to be ranked even lower. Those paydays ain't going to be there for him. The paydays are with the top 10. They ain't with the top 25. I mean the second half of that weight class. Those ain't the paydays. The paydays is in the top 10. So
true, but he's 21 free. Like
but what I'm saying is the paydays that he's getting at 47 is going to be the same paydays he get at 54. They're not going to change. It's not going to go up because he's at a higher weight class. It's going to be the same payday. It's going to be potential to get more money when he move up to the top 10. But by then he might be moving out of 47.
I think he needs to stay where he's at, free. I don't think
I'm not even saying that he needs to go.
I know you're not. I'm just saying for anybody that thinks that he needs to move up right now, I think that's just not wise.
No, what I'm saying is when he was talking about the money right now is going to be pretty much the same.
I'm about to say the money will be probably it's the same because, like you said, free. What is he going to do? He's not jumping the line.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much the same as what he's getting now because he's not in the top 10. So he's not going to be in the top 10 when he goes to 54. He's going to drop down even lower because he was a lower rank. Like those guys that come from 47, like even the champions that come from 47, they come up to be mandatory. They don't come up to be champions. They come up to be mandatory. So they taking a drop down. So when you're not a champion and you move up, you're going to drop down even lower. If you was ranked number 2 at 47, you go to 54, you're not going to be ranked number 2 at 54. You're going to be ranked somewhere around 5, 6, or 7. You're going to be ranked lower. So if you coming in and you rank number 15 at 47, you're going to come in at 54 and probably be ranked somewhere around the top 20, 25.
Where do you think he have a better chance of getting his skill? Because he got a lot to work on. Do you think he got a better chance at 54 adapting or at 47? I don't really think so at 47 because I think it's kind of tied up with the boot situation. But 54, I think he probably can maneuver his way, build his name, and get his feet up under him at 54.
Yeah, looking at it different. He's not in position to fight a champion right now. Y'all looking at it like he's in position to fight a champion. He's not in that position right now. He probably would have been if he would have won that belt. He probably would have been in position to probably try to challenge one of the champions, but he's not in that position right now. Right now, he's in position to become a contender. He's in position to become a contender. He's not a contender right now. He's still on that prospect level. He's still on the prospect level right now. So,
sure.
I think everything that he needs to work on, he needs to work on it now at 47. Get that stuff taken care of at 47, because if you move up to 54 and you have those issues at 54, you're not dealing with the same type of punchers at 54. So you might get in there with somebody who might not be a top-level opponent, but he punched like he a top-level opponent.
I agree, because that dude had a motherfucking jab out this world. I don't know if y'all caught it.
Yeah, he did. He had a nice jab, but the thing was, Jalil caught a lot of those shots with his glove. He caught a lot of them. Some of them got through, but I don't think it's a lot that he needs to work on. I just think is learning how to cut the ring off, and he did a little bit of it when he had his hand free. He was still throwing punches, but he has to make it known to the referee. He's holding my hand. He's holding my hand. He got to make it be known to the referee so the referee can break it immediately. But at the same time, not move so close to where he can reach out there and grab you. Don't smother your work. Stay at a distance where you can get off, but he not be able to grab you. I think a lot of times he was trying to dig the body so much that he was smothering his work, and he gave the opportunity for the dude to be able to grab him.
I agree. Younger fighters do that. Yeah.
He was smothering and falling in, but on the weight thing, I don't necessarily think that the only time a guy is showing signs of trouble making weight is when they miss weight, because you seen guys make weight and still look terrible. You see them look emaciated when they're on the scale, and then by the time they get in the ring, their performance suffers. Most recently, we seen Raymond Ford. Like Raymond Ford didn't miss weight when he was at 126, but he looked flat as hell. Then you see him come out at 130, and he looked invigorated. I got a question for my guy, Coach Tommy, in regards to making weight, because fitness is his thing. Do you think it could be a matter of how he's making the weight? Because that's sort of what they were alluding to during the broadcast. It's not that he missed weight, but it was like kind of like how he cut the weight. Maybe he could do some things different with his regimen.
I mean,
I think it could be that. It could be that. Go ahead, Tommy.
It could possibly be that, but that would be a lot for me to speculate. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I do know with him as far as his weight and that stuff is hearing his father talk about him, where he'll run sometimes twice a day and busting out 5 to 10, 15-mile runs like without a problem. The kid is a machine. So that's the only reason I say, to see him get out hustled at the end of the fight a little bit. I wonder if maybe just possibly it was cutting the weight. I'm not damning it like that's absolutely what it is. You know what I'm saying? But to answer your question, yeah, it could possibly be with maybe too fast of a weight cut like that. That'll definitely take away from your stamina. It'll take away from your overstrength. I'm not sure. It's just it's too far for me to speculate.
Yeah, I mean, because I seen Devin Haney get outworked in the later rounds in fights, and this was prior to we saw him looking like a skeleton on the scales. Like it just because Devin Haney slows down because he moves so much, and like I said, it could have been just he was using so much energy in there, and the other guy was preserving his energy because the other guy wasn't doing a lot of work the first half of that fight. And then the guy was a little more fresher the second half because he wasn't doing a lot of work. He was preserving his energy. So it looks like he might have been exhausted or tired or whatever. But he, like I said, the entire fight, he was pressing the action. He wasn't like he was on the back foot. He was pressing the action. He still had energy. I didn't see where he looked tired at. I didn't see him look tired. I saw the other guys start to come on in the later rounds because, like I said,
He
he
may not have been huffing and puffing, but I'll say this though: as the fight wore on, his technique definitely looked noticeably sloppier as the fight progressed. Like the punches didn't look as crisp, didn't have the same type of snap. The form started to go by the wayside a tad bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be some
diminish
fatigue.
A little bit.
It's gonna be some fatigue in your fighting as the fight go on. Unless, like I said, unless you're just somebody that doesn't throw a lot of punches. We gotta remember, I think he threw somewhere around close to like 600 punches that fight, maybe even more than that. He was throwing a lot of shots. So, I mean, he could have got a little. I mean, even like the David Benavidez last fight, we never see David Benavidez get tired. He moved up in weight.
I seen him tired in the Ronald Gravel fight because he got dropped by a damn jab in that Ronald Gravel fight in the first one. He was spent in that first one. He literally like just walked into a jab and just
that was earlier in his career. I'm talking about
David is also a former fat kid who
I'm talking about as of recent. We never seen David get tired, and then he moved up in weight and he got tired. He moved up in weight. It wasn't like he moved down. He moved up, and we seen him get tired in that. And I was like, whoa, I haven't seen David look like this before. I ain't seen him look like this. This man was literally tired. So I mean, it just could be the fact that you spending a lot of energy and the other guy is just preserving it, or they. I mean, you never know what it is, but I don't think it calls for him to have to move up in weight. I didn't see something where I said, you know what, he got to move up in weight, because I actually think the opposite, because the issues that he have, you want to work that out in the weight class that you in. You don't want to move up in weight and try to work out the issues that you're having.
Or at least against the level of competition that you're at now.
Right.
'Cause I'm pretty sure there's even some guys at 147 where they got some heavy enough hands. The guy that he was in there with wasn't too much of a puncher. Another guy, most recently, Richard Hitchens. This fight, he spoke a lot about listening to his nutritionist and his strength and conditioning coach, and he said that the weight cut went a lot smoother than it had a couple months ago against Lemos. And that's the only reason why I mentioned maybe it could have been the way that they
Yeah.
cut weight, or like what Coach Tommy alluded to, maybe the pacing of the weight cut.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could be because some of these guys they go in and the first month or so is cutting weight, and then that rest of that camp you working on your game plan. Some of these guys work on their game plan, and then the last part of that camp they cutting weight. So it me personally, a healthy weight cut is you cutting weight throughout that camp. By the time the end of that camp, you on weight. So you shouldn't do all your weight cut at the beginning, or you shouldn't have to do all your weight cut at the end. You should be gradually cutting your weight as you go through camp. So by the time you reach the end of that camp, you're on weight. That way you had a healthy weight cut. You worked on your game plan. You worked on your skills, and you as fresh as you're gonna be. You at your peak. You're at your peak when it's time for that fight night. You're at the peak.
As far as dropping weight, in the fitness industry, and from everything I've studied and read myself, they say that a healthy weight loss is up to, not beyond, 2 pounds per week. So if you got an 8-week camp, that you could easily shed 16 pounds. You shouldn't be far beyond that outside of your fighting weight anyway. But we all know that's not the case. A lot of fighters lose a hell of a lot more than 2 pounds a week.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you're
And a
right.
lot of those guys, to your point about the starting point, they kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball. Somebody had mentioned Errol Spence. I think it might have been GP. When he was on the Pivot podcast, he was saying that when he was fighting at 147, he was cutting down from excess of 180. So having to lose 33 pounds in the damn camp, 33 plus is,
Yeah,
we
I
talking
mean
about 8 weeks, bro. That's rough.
me personally, I believe, and I told my nephew this when he goes and get ready for his fight. If you know that they're working on a fight, you need to start camp right then. As far as your weight cut, you need to start your weight cut there, especially if you know you're about 20 pounds above your weight class. You need to start your weight cut right when they start talking about making a fight for you. Because once it's time for them, once they make that fight and you're going into camp, you want to be able to lose that weight easy. You don't want to have to rush and do all this extreme to lose that weight because you still off by 4 or 5 pounds when it's come to weigh in. So I always thought if a person is 20 pounds above their weight class, I mean their weight class, they once they start talking and try to look for a fight, they need to start their weight cut.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in road work, man. That you should be doing road work in between your fights. In between your fights, you shouldn't be doing road work to the same level you do it in camp. You shouldn't be going that hard. It should be, but something should be done at least 3 to 4 days a week, man. You that's how you keep your weight in check.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Maintenance, man, maintenance. Or as you say, frequency over volume.
Frequency
Yeah.
over volume,
You
and
look at them,
and,
you look at them
and
guys
it's
like B Hop, man. B Hop is a guy that
yeah.
was notorious for that. Like he's staying within 10 to 15 pounds of where he was fighting at.
Hmm. Yeah. You want to stay within 15 pounds at the max. At the max because like Tommy said, when you going through camp, you want to lose 2 pounds a week. You don't want to be sitting there trying to lose 5 or 6 pounds a week because you know you 30 pounds above your weight class. You ain't you asking to put your body through a lot of work because not only are you losing weight, you're going through the training to lose weight, but you're also taking a beating on your body by going through sparring and all that, getting ready for your fight. So your body is going through a lot of work in those 8 weeks.
I got a question for y'all, if you don't mind me throwing out a different topic. And that one is Robesi Ramirez. His decision to stop fighting in that fight, we now know he had a broken orbital bone, but his decision to stop fighting, how is this going to affect him in the future? How's it going to affect his career, more importantly?
I believe it remains to be seen. I believe it remains to be seen, man. I think it's to be determined. I feel like anybody who's reasonable, once the information that was just released today, they glean that, then say, hey, he made a reasonable choice, because you've seen plenty of guys suffer eye injuries and it damn near put them out the sport. Daniel Dubois, he almost lost his eye after that Joe Joyce fight, and that was almost a career ender. Sugar Ray Leonard had to take some serious time off with his eye injury. Eye injuries, Ugas, Errol Spence, another one. He had to get detached retina surgery, cataract surgery after the Crawford fight, having a lot of issues with his eyes. Abner Mares is another one. Abner Mares, we ain't seen him in a little minute. He's been sidelined. He's been wanting to fight, but
he did fight. He fought about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, about to say, I think last year he fought. He had a fight, and I mean, he didn't look great, but he didn't. You could tell it's some ring rust, and you could tell that he's not at the Abner Mares that we used to seeing. He's not that same dude.
It's his eyes, bro. His eyes was all messed up. That's why he's always, every time you see him, the guy got shades on.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Like Ugas, his eye was shut for 48 hours, and it was pussing. They had pus coming out of his eye. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it was a bad decision, because I heard what Tim Bradley said. He said, "Man, they would have had to carry me out of there. I'm not stopping for nothing." But you don't know how bad it is until it happens to you, because if you never had a broken orbital bone, you don't know the pain that you're feeling. You don't know the vision that he's seeing, and none of that. Because if he would have went back in there, he said he was having double vision. If he would have went back in there and continued to fight, he probably would have got knocked out badly. Because dude was moving in to hit him with a killer shot, and he was like, no, I'm done. So he probably would have got knocked out badly, and it could have been a lot worse than what it was, just a orbital bone broke. I mean, he could have hit him in that same eye again, and that bone could have punctured his daggone actual eye.
I had that injury. I had a broken orbital bone, and I can tell you that, and it wasn't in the fifth. I got jumped, but I can tell you that every blow I took to my head, it was more than the pain of a punch to the head. It's kind of like the mix of like pain and electricity just shocking through you with anything that even touched me anywhere to the head. That broken orbital bone is incredibly painful. I was seeing double for over a week for like 12 days, and I almost lost vision in my eye behind that.
Yeah.
That is no joke, man. That is seriously painful.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him at all. As far as Timothy Bradley is concerned, maybe he didn't know. He was probably just under the assumption that Robesi just had a little mouse under his eye and decided to quit.
Nah, he said that orbital bone. They were talking about it, because he was I guess he was going to his ride or whatever to get out of the stadium, whatever. But he was talking about it. He was like, nah, they would have had to carry me out. They would have had to carry. I was like, we saw what happened when you fought Manny Pacquiao. They literally wheeled you out. So, I mean,
Timothy Bradley's also a different type of dude too. You know, he's one of them Toro Gotti type guys. Like, he can take some punishment.
Yeah, everybody tolerance of pain is different, and everybody's situation is different, because even though we've seen multiple people get their orbital bone broken, everybody's broken orbital bone is not the same severe of damage. Some is more severe than others. So we don't know what type of break he had. It could have just been a break in the corner. You got some guys where their whole joint is fractured.
Cross. The medical report came out, but most of the guys you see suffer. Look, he got his joint broke twice. He got stopped twice.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I think Danny Garcia said his orbital bone was broken when he fought Earl Spence, but he was able to fight through it because it wasn't as bad of a break as it was for Ugas.
stopped with an orbital bone. Billy Joe Saunders got stopped.
Caleb Plant.
Bam Rodriguez.
Caleb Plant against Canelo.
Yep. So I mean, it all, like I said, it all depends on the severity of the break because just like a broken arm, every broken arm is not the same. It all depends on the severity of the break. So some. I mean, I've watched, who was it? It was somebody that had fractured ribs, and they was able to play football the entire year with fractured ribs. But then I seen other guys that had fractured ribs, and they were like, nah, he can't. They can't play. He sat out for 8 weeks because he had fractured ribs. But it all depends on the severity of the actual break.
And the quality of them drugs too, because I'm pretty sure whoever the hell was playing with some fractured ribs, that guy was probably doped up on something good. They gave him some type of painkiller,
Yeah, I'm
some
trying
type
to
of
remember
painkiller.
what it was a quarterback. I'm trying to, because they were talking about when Jaden Daniels, they said he had some torn cartilage on his ribs, and but he was able to continue playing. He just had to sit out. I think he sat out for the rest of that game, but he was able to play the following week. And they was trying to figure out how bad was it or whatever. But I mean, it just some people, like I said, some people have a high tolerance of pain, and like you said, some people might be on some drugs to numb that injury. So it all depends on the situation, because everybody is not the same. The things that might hurt me might not hurt you. The same things that might hurt you might not hurt me. So it all depends.
Yeah, but you know that what's the name is serious though, because I can only think of a handful of guys who've managed to fight through a broken orbital bone and actually win the fight. You seen guys fight through a broken jaw and win a fight a
Yeah,
lot more, but them orbital bones, once them joints go, it seems like it's
yeah,
almost unanimous.
yeah,
It's
That like,
so
hey,
sensitive, man. It's so sensitive to touch that when you get punched, man, like it just sends like a shock of pain through your head that is incredible, man. That makes you not want to fight no more. Like, yo, I'm good, man. I'm done. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. What's going on, D1? I mean, I'm sorry, Tim Laney. What's going on?
my
But
God, a big train.
you say what?
No, I'm saying Tim Layton, my God, a big train. But yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah,
that anybody who's reasonable, you know what I mean, they would look at Robisi's situation and say, hey man, it ain't worth losing your eye over, hail up, and then come back. I thought he was doing exceptionally well in the fight. He was getting busy. I love the way he was moving. The guy was out there looking like straight silk
yeah,
butter. He was getting busy. What's name was fighting pretty damn dirty too. I think that's something that needs to be looked into.
yeah. He was using elbows like a
Like
mug.
yeah, like crazy. Somebody made a compilation. It was pretty bad, and he was pretty brazen with it too. Because I could understand if it was a thing where it was like coincidental, like Fundora and Zoo. Fundora's
Yeah,
like literally in the high guard. Zoo rushes in, and then his elbow gets him on the top of the head. He didn't flail it out there or anything like that. He's literally just in the high guard, and Zoo runs into him. Such was not the case with Espinoza. He was out there like literally throwing elbows,
right. And he got
several
warned
exchanges,
about it. Me
and he got warned
personally,
about it too.
yeah, me personally, when you know a guy has a history of throwing elbows, there shouldn't be no warning. He throw an elbow, you take a point. Ain't it shouldn't be no warning. He got a history of throwing elbows. It's almost like what's his name? Draymond Green. They don't give him no warning. They just give him a tech off the break. You start arguing with the ref, tech. They don't give him no warning or nothing. They just give him a tech off the break because you have a history of it. So when you got a history of it, it don't need to be no warning. You already been warned in your previous fights. We taking a point right off the break.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, man. I definitely agree with that. It's a lot of rules in boxing that are just not enforced enough. You know, if these rules are enforced more, I think it'll keep cleaner action and more action.
Yeah. It's the same thing with guys that's known for headbutting. You known for headbutting, you see him headbutt somebody, it should be a point off the break. He is already known for doing it. He's been warned multiple fights of the headbutt. He need to automatically be getting a point taken right off the break. That way, you ain't got to worry about him going into these fights no more headbutting. If you know he gonna get a point taken right off the break, it ain't gonna be no warning.
And then several infractions, man, just automatic DQ. Because I ain't gonna lie to you. After I saw that compilation and just saw how egregious those elbows were, I would not be upset.
He came like this.
He came over the top. Yo, he had one where he hooked Robisi's arm, hooked his arm to pull his guard down and slip the elbow. And I was like, yo, that's dirty as hell.
Yeah. And that's the thing that happened in the first fight. He caught Robisi with a vicious elbow in the first fight, and Robisi told the referee and their camp told the referee about. They said watch him for his elbows. That's why the first time he threw it, the referee went right over to him and said something about it. Robisi didn't even say nothing. Robisi kept on going, and the ref pulled him apart, and he's like, "Oh, hey, watch the elbows." I'm like, "Dog, you don't need to be telling me. They already told you that he likes to throw elbows. You need to take a point from him right off the break."
I would not be upset. This is me personally. I would not be upset if they reviewed it and overturned that from a TKO to a DQ.
Yeah.
A no contest at best, because that has no place in the sport for you to be just throwing elbows like that. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, because I'm almost certain that over the bone break probably came from one of the elbows, because the jab that he threw, it wasn't like it was a stinging jab or nothing like that. He just threw a jab out there and caught him in the eye, and Robisi just walked off and was like, "Nah, I'm done." It wasn't even like it was a stiff jab or anything like that. It was just a regular jab he threw out there, and he happened to catch Robisi in that eye, and Robisi was like, "Nah, I'm done," and walked off. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know if they're going to review it. I mean, they're probably not. But yeah, they gotta do something in order to clean up the sport when it comes to these dirty fighters, because
I'm actually a fan of headbutts, though, man.
Yeah,
it's all to that, man. A fighter who knows how to headbutt well. I'm a fan of that. I can't lie, man. Two of my favorite fighters were really good at that: Evander Holyfield and Joel Casamayor.
Well, you saw what happened.
Head is a part of boxing.
You saw what happened to the dude. What's his name that headbutted Floyd?
Yeah, but he was stupid. Victor Ortiz.
Victor Ortiz. Yeah, he was too blatant.
But Floyd was like, "All right, bet." He shook hands. Floyd caught him with a 2-piece. I bet you won't headbutt again. I'm putting you to sleep.
Yeah, he deserved that, man. He was doing all right too. He ain't have to do that stupidness.
And Floyd ended up suing him for it, and won.
Yeah, that wasn't even nothing subtle, man. That was like just blatant, disrespectful. You know.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm not mad he got knocked out.
No, I'm not mad at all neither. I mean, I had already bet that Floyd was going to win, but I didn't know he was going to knock him out. I think I was betting one of my friends that was watching the fight with me, and they was complaining. They're like, "Oh, that's dirty. Floyd wasn't supposed to do that. He should be disqualified." I was like, "For what?" The referee already had them shake hands. He went to go shake hands again. Floyd ain't got to shake his hand twice.
That's right.
The referee tell you at the beginning of the match, protect yourself at all times. The man didn't. He went for another handshake before he caught him with a two-piece. Actually, Floyd shook his hand and then caught him with a two-piece. It just his hands was quicker.
He was a good fighter too, man. Like he has that fight he had where Marcos Maidana that was a classic slugfest, and then he messed it all up at the end of the fight where he's talking about, I'm only 25, I should be taking this kind of punishment.
Yeah.
He put on a hell of a show, man. He should have kept that to himself, man.
Right. So what you think is next for Richardson Hitchens? What you think is going to happen next?
That's a good question, man. I could see him with Puello.
Let me look at these rankings and see who's with who, and then that should give us a good idea of what's possible. That should give us a good idea of what's possible. Because that's the one thing, man. Is you like to see certain fights happen, but based on sides of the street and all this other stuff, and whether or not these promoters are willing to work with one another.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to the IBF too.
That too.
IBF, hey, they don't care what your name is, and if it ain't a unification, if we got a mandatory, we calling it. I don't care nothing about no rematch clause or none of that.
Well, right now the closest ranked guy in the IBF is Jack Catterall. How would y'all feel about that fight?
That's a good fight.
That's a good fight.
Nice little technical matchup too.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
They'll be waiting around to counter each other all night.
Possibly. Both of them guys like to throw them straights.
Yeah, because Jack is ranked number 3.
There's nobody else in front of him, though. 1 and 2 is wide open. Jack Catterall's 3. Then you got Arnold Barbosa Jr. at 4. Subriel Matias at 5. We got Gabriel Valenzuela at 6. Elvis Rodriguez at 7. I like Elvis Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Well, I seen the
IBF does that all the time. They always leave 1 and 2 open. 1 and 2 is saved for title eliminator.
Mm-hmm.
So that they'll occupy 1 and 2 when they having a title eliminator, and then once whoever wins become the mandatory, they put him at number 1 and number 2 be vacant again. They always do that. I don't know why they do it like that, but they always do it like that. I do know why they do that. They do it like that so nobody can say, hey, he's the number 1, he needs to be fighting him next, or he's number 2, he needs to be fighting him next. They leave those 2 open so they can put whoever they want in the top 10 as a title eliminator, and whoever wins becomes the number 1. That's the reason why they do it.
So I'm looking through the chat, man. I see Michael Garner says Eddie brought up Kambosos after the fight. So what you think about if Kambosos?
Yeah, I heard something about that. Kambosos and Richardson Hitchens, but because they was talking about Kambosos was supposed to fight Parole if Parole won, because it was going to be a big fight in Australia because it's 2 Australians. But I don't know if Kambosos does anything for Richardson Hitchens. It would have did something for Parole because it's 2 Australians fighting against each other. They can fight in their home country, and it'd be a big fight. But for Richardson Hitchens, Kambosos don't do anything for him.
Yeah.
He just got knocked out by Loma.
Yeah.
What is that going to do for Richardson Hitchens? You fighting a guy. Not only did he just get knocked out by Loma, but now he's moving up in weight. What is that going to do for you? Nothing. Doesn't do anything for him.
Well, it's another paycheck. It's another name to pad the resume. Nothing significant, but You know,
It
it's
could be
like
a
one of
stay
those
busy
album
fight.
songs. Yeah, stay busy fight. But it's like, you know, like when you got a good album, then you got one of them filler tracks here, something like that. That's kind of
Yeah.
how I look at the Cambosis fight. Like it's just stay busy, get another check, and depending on where the fight is staged, probably generate some money.
Me personally, if I was Richardson Hitchens, I'm like, Cambos, you gotta fight me in Brooklyn.
I wouldn't be
You
mad
gotta
at
fight me.
that. Wouldn't be opposed to that.
You gotta
Homecoming,
fight.
maybe at the
you,
Barclays, something like that.
yeah, you gotta fight me in Brooklyn. When you were the champion, you wanted everybody to fight you in Australia. You gotta fight me in Brooklyn. I'm taking you to my home turf.
What was?
But
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn is his promoter, so you know Eddie Hearn is going to try to get Turkey to fund that, and whatever Turkey wants is going to be what he wants, and it's going to probably be end up being in Australia, because that's another thing too. You had Richardson Hitchens and Pyro in the main event, and then you had Jalil, who's your upcoming prospect, fighting in Puerto Rico, and none of them were Puerto Ricans. The main event was no Puerto Ricans on the neither one of them was Puerto Rican. Why was this event even in Puerto Rico?
Well, it could have been a number of reasons. It could have possibly been like the cost of doing the event. Uh, could have been them trying to cash in or whatever cachet they felt Paro built from the Matias fight. There were a couple Puerto Ricans on there though. I mean, you had the co-main guy on there. The guy that Jalil fought was from Puerto Rico, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was
Henry
from Puerto
LeBron.
Rico. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
from
you had
Puerto
Henry
Rico.
LeBron.
He looked
What's the
good
other
too.
cat? The cat's name that he fought? Christopher
That,
Diaz.
that LeBron dude, dog, he gonna be a problem for somebody. He gonna be a problem for somebody. He can box.
Yeah,
He
he
can
could.
box.
He could.
Yeah, he was very smooth, very disciplined. Even when things got a little bit shaky for him towards the end, he never faltered or abandoned the game plan. That would be the only thing that I would say that I saw from LeBron or that I've seen from LeBron, even in other fights, that I feel might hold him back at the world level is that he doesn't seem to, go through the gear, so to speak. Kind of fights are just like one pace, which is I'm gonna just stay on the outside, use lateral movement. I'm a poke and prod and just kind of score enough points to win. But
Yeah,
when
I mean,
Diaz started bringing it to him, he didn't really seem to have much of an answer. And then, you know what? Speaking of dirty fighting, I loved when Diaz, when he couldn't locate LeBron was being real slippery with his footwork. He started stepping on his foot before he's throwing the right hand. Every
yeah,
time he landed a right hand, he stepped on homie's foot to hold him in place and he threw the right
yeah,
hand. I was watching their feet the whole time.
yeah. I was
He was
watching
real
it too. I
slick with
saw
it,
that
real
too.
sneaky.
Yeah, but I think that's because LeBron he can't punch. That dude cannot punch. And if you look at it, he was throwing some nice body shots, but they was having no effect whatsoever. They wasn't having no effect. I was like, this dude cannot punch.
Yeah, he's like a Paul Malignaggi.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yup.
He didn't
He
impede his
can.
progress at all. But my thing is, I wouldn't have been mad if he would have took a few more chances. I'm not saying be reckless and roll the dice and just go out there and start brawling with the guy, but Diaz, for much of the fight, he wasn't really letting his hands go when he was getting in range. And that was one of the most perplexing things because I felt like he did a pretty solid job at times of staying in front of LeBron, but he was just in that high guard. He wasn't letting the hands go. So you get in range, you got to work. Even if you got to hit the guy on the hips or jab him in the chest, try to stabilize him some way, somehow, but just
I
work,
think.
man. You just
I
follow
think
him.
what Diaz was doing though, and I saw it a couple of times. I think what he was doing because his hands wasn't as fast as LeBron. He was waiting for LeBron to engage, and he was trying to catch him in between punches because his hands wasn't fast enough. If he was to go ahead and lead out with a jab, every time he did, LeBron would catch him real quick and then bounce out. So I think he was waiting for LeBron to engage, and then he'll throw a shot in between his punches. That's usually when he caught LeBron. When LeBron would throw a combination, you'll see him throw a punch in between that combination, and then once LeBron finished his combination, he'd dip out. So I think it was because he was worried about
So
the
you think
hand
the
speed.
hand speed got him a tad bit tentative?
Yeah.
I think you nailed that, D3.
I could see that.
hmm
But even still, it's like, man, when the guy is swimming out or he's pivoting out, like try to, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
catch him on the
throw
hip or
that
something.
that right hook or that left hook to the
You don't
body.
even got to try to. You ain't even got to try to hit him up top. You know, beat them hips up and slow him
Hit
down
to,
a little bit. Try to
yeah,
stabilize him.
you hit him to that rib cage or hit him on that daggone that hip joint. He ain't gonna move that side. He might move to the other side, but he ain't gonna move to that side because once that hip joint gets sore, you don't want to move at all. You wanna go the opposite way. I done took a couple of hits on the hip, and that joint is not nice at all. Especially when you get like even when I play football, not even in boxing, because it happened in boxing too. But when I played football and I took a hit right on that hip, no, I was like, hold up, I need a break. That shit hurt. So,
Can't
but
remember what this cat's name was. He told this funny story where he was sparring Arthur Baterviev. He said he took a shot to the hip. He felt it in his foot for like a week. But yeah, Rich
That
he
dude
said
hits
was next
different,
for
man.
Michael
him.
Garner.
I'll take Jack Catterall. I see George Kambosos is number 9 right now in the WBO, so he is in the 140 rankings, but he's not in the IBF rankings. I'm not sure if we see that fight.
Yeah, but I did hear them mention that, but that was if Pyro was to win that fight. They was trying to take that fight to Australia. I don't see if Kambosos. I don't see it happening because if he's not ranked, I don't think the IBF is going to allow him to make that fight. Because the IBF is real strict on their rules. I don't
Yep.
think they're going to allow him to make
You
that
gonna
fight.
fight that mandatory, or then
How
once
does
you get that
Kambosos keep
mandatory out
getting
the
these
way?
shots, man?
He's got a fantastic team, man. That's one of the most understated aspects
All he
of
been
a
doing
pro
is losing.
boxer's
I don't
career
understand
is
it.
having a phenomenal team that knows how to put you in position. Because you got some guys that are damn good boxers, and they'll never get these type of
Yeah.
opportunities. You got to have a good team.
Yeah, we all know a lot of these rankings is who lined up those daggone sanctioning body pockets. Because some of these guys, they don't even be ranked, and then all of a sudden they about to fight a big name fighter, and then all of a sudden you see them in the top 5. You be like, hold on, how the hell he get in the top 5? He wasn't even ranked. How the hell he get in the top 5? I think that happened with the Tio when he fought Steve Claggett. Steve Claggett was ranked number 13, but the night of the
Yep.
fight, they had him ranked I think like number 6 or number 7. I was like, hold up, this dude was just ranked number 13. I looked him up. He was ranked number 13. How the hell? He didn't have no fight. How the hell did he get ranked to number 6 or 7? None of those guys in front of him lost, and he didn't have a fight.
Oh, you said the guy that Gary Russell beat? Oh, you said the guy that beat Gary Russell? You talking about
Like
Puello?
Sayo?
No, he's talking about Puello, Alberto Puello, the
Oh, that
WBC.
was
I'm not sure.
That was Alberto Puello.
I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to fight Richardson Hitchens. Is
No,
Puello
he got a
still with
belt.
PBC?
They could unify. They got a belt. They could
No, I
they
know
unify.
they
can
can
unify.
unify, but I'm talking about the likelihood of that happening.
So does Rayo.
You got to
What
see
about
who he's with.
Rayo and Hitchens?
That might have to be one of those joints that Turkey funds, because both of them guys are with PBC, and I'm not sure if we're gonna get that fight.
I wouldn't
Not
mind
sure if
seeing
we
that
get
at
that.
all.
I wouldn't mind
bro.
seeing either one of those.
Rayo
Puello and
really
Hitchens.
impressed me.
Yo, fellas, somebody had mentioned something earlier, right? And I thought it was a fantastic point. I know
Who that?
you gents know this all too well. Dominican Republic and Haiti, it's the same landmass. It's split right down the middle. You got Hitchens, who's Haitian, and you got Puello, who's Dominican. Come
Yeah.
on, man. They need to stage
Ooh-wee.
that down there.
Yeah, and
that'd be a big money fight. I mean,
That's fantastic marketing right there. You already got a
yeah,
baked in narrative.
yeah. Far as ticket sales, that could be a big money fight. Far as ticket sales, because I know the Dominican Republic, they're gonna support their fighters, and the Haitians pretty much support their fighters for the most part.
Yep. And you see it clearly. Eddie has no problem with taking fights to the Caribbean. He just had 2 fights in Puerto Rico
Yeah,
with Liam
he said
Powell. So
Mike Garner just said Eddie was talking about bringing more fights next year to Puerto Rico, but he didn't say anything about the U.S. Well, I think when it comes to the U.S.,
brand, it seems.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the U.S., it's gonna be to where he have no choice but to make fights in the U.S. because a lot of the big fights that his top 2 fighters right now, even top 3 fighters right now, they want are guys from the U.S. and they not the A side. I mean, Shakur is the A side, but Shakur is gonna go wherever the money's at. He worried about the bag. But Boots want to fight in the U.S. He don't want to fight overseas. He'll fight overseas if he have to, but he want to fight in the U.S. And Conor Ben, all the fights that Conor Ben want are in the U.S.
Boots, man. He disappointed me.
I don't think Boots disappointed me because I think Boots did exactly what he said he was going to do, and he just did an interview. And shout out to my man D1 because he played it. I saw the same interview that he played, and they asked him what's next for him. He said, "I'm unifying a belt. That's my next fight. I want a unification," and that's what I've always said. The man want a unification. As long as he get a unification fight, I have no problem with him turning down the Vergil Ortiz fight. As long as his next fight is a unification. Now, if he go fight another run-of-the-mill fighter, then no, I don't want to see that. No.
He sent me mixed messages, you know what I'm saying? Because, he told me he was talking about he wanted to unify, but then after the last fight, he was talking about, I'm 27, I'm getting bigger, time to move up. I don't know if I can keep making 47. This is getting hard on me. And you get offered this Vergil fight where all them fights leading up to Undisputed probably is not going to equal that bag or that notoriety you're going to get in that 154-pound division fighting Vergil. It make all the sense as far as the bag go. It's a belt. You crying about 147 already. Well, if you crying about it, here's someone ready to fight you at 54. You know what I'm saying? So he sent out a very mixed signal doing that.
But you got to also think about it. He wants to unify the belts. They gave him they said he had 72 hours to make a decision. They wanted a decision right then and there. It was the Thanksgiving holiday. The man had just had a fight. He was like, I'm not ready to make that decision right now. I'm not ready to make that decision. So I'm not going to say he ducked Vergil or anything like that because they got a contract or offer for 47. Whoever sent out that daggone offer made a mistake because they went back and changed it and said, "Oh no, my bad. It was supposed to be 54." So they agreed to the fight with Vergil at 47, but they were like, "We're not moving to 54 right now." So I'm not mad at him because he said, "I'm not moving to 54." The only person he said he will move to 54 for is Bud Crawford. Rightfully so. Bud Crawford is a big name. He's a money grab. That's a money grab right there. Vergil is not a money grab. We don't know how much money he's going to get for the Vergil fight because Vergil has never even made $1 million in any fight. So we don't know how much he's going to get for the Vergil fight. So we believe it's a big fight. That's a fight that everybody wants because Vergil is one of his contemporaries. But I don't know if it's a bigger fight than him fighting. I mean, a bigger money fight than him fighting a unification with Brian Norman or Mario Barrio or Stanionis. I don't know if it's a bigger money fight.
Huh? You can't be serious, man. Stanionis, Brian Norman, Or you talking Vergil Ortiz? Vergil Ortiz got a solid. They got a solid fan base. You talking about a turkey card who's known to pay well. Nah, man, I can't.
I'm not talking about how much money the promoters are going to make. I'm talking about the offer that's going to be made for the fight. I'm not talking about how much money the promoter is going to make from the gate in the pay-per-view if it's on pay-per-view. I'm talking about the actual offer for the fighters. I don't know if it's a bigger offer for Vergil than it is for Stanley. From what I heard, I think they offered him like $2 or $3 million. I don't know because they never said what the offer was. This is what somebody else said that the offer actually was. It was like $2 or $3 million for the Vergil Ortiz. So
I don't know. I just think he's fumbling his career. I think it would have been just a much better career move. It would have lined him up for bigger fights, for bigger paydays. Because if he go out there and smash Crawford, you know what they're gonna start doing. They're gonna start screaming Terrence Crawford name. You know, all kind of possibilities open up. I'm disappointed. I can't lie. I'm disappointed.
I'm not, because he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. I mean, I'm holding the man to his word. As long as he don't fight nobody else and he fight another champion, I'm cool with it because that's what he said he wanted to do. His father already said it. He said it multiple times. I want to unify. He's even said, I want to at least unify. If I can't get the other guys, so be it. I want to at least unify. And they asked him, so what's next? He said, unification. I'm fighting a champion in my next fight. So as long as he stay true to his word, I can't knock the man. Now, if he go and he fight daggone Blair Cobb or something, then I'm like, okay, you duck Vergil Ortiz for Blair Cobb.
Well, that's a good segue because right now, word of the YouTube streams is that he's in negotiation with Teofimo Lopez. So if that's true, I don't know if that's true or not, but if that's
not true. That's not true.
Teo wouldn't be offering him nothing.
That's not true.
I don't know. I have no
According
idea.
to Bob Arum, it's supposed to be. The word is that Bob is saying that they're supposed to be in talks, and Eddie is open to it and doing a cross promotion between Matchroom and Top Rank. Who knows? It remains to be seen. But I do feel as though Boots and his team, they've kind of opened themselves up to this criticism. Sometimes you got to kind of just keep things close to the vest.
That's why he said, if you don't hear it from me, it ain't true.
Because even his dad was saying, oh, Vergil Ortiz. Somebody asked his dad recently about Vergil Ortiz before this whole debacle. You want to fight with Vergil Ortiz? Oh, we'll take that fight in a heartbeat. So then when we start saying things like, well, it's the holiday weekend, he just fought and so on and so forth. He only had X amount of time to make a decision, but then you got his dad saying you would take it in a heartbeat. Then it's presented, it's offered, and then it's reported that it was agreed to. They just got to just clean all of that up. Everybody who's over there, they got to make sure that they're in communication, they're in sync, and nobody is speaking out of turn, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I tend to agree with what Boots said because he said because people saying stuff, he said that's just them talking. He said, as far as negotiation, I wasn't aware of any negotiation. Nobody came to me with an offer. He said, I was unaware of a negotiation. So, and Eddie Hearn even said there was no negotiation. There was just an offer made. There was no negotiation. It was just an offer made. So I agree with him. He's like, nobody came to me with no offer. So they didn't come to him with an offer.
And you got the man himself who's funding the event saying that there was an agreement. And that Booz's word was given, and he changed his mind. Which even if he changed his mind, to me, it makes me know never mind whether we get this fight or not. It's whatever. We got 1,000 other fights that can be made. You got fights that are taking place weekly. It's whatever. But I can understand how for some people it does look a little funny in the light, especially considering one of the major talking points surrounding Boots and his career up until this point is that nobody's wanted to fight him. He's the boogeyman. We can't get this fight. You can't get this fight. Then you get a big fight that comes across the desk. There's an agreement, and then there's a change of mind. It just.
Well, I mean, he is the boogeyman at 47. Nobody at 47 want to fight him right now. I mean, he is the boogeyman at 47. Now you talking about a guy who had multiple opportunities to fight Jerome Booth Simmons at 47, and he turned it down.
Was there ever an agreement though? That's the difference.
No, it was an agreement. The agreement was they wasn't going to fight him for 4 years. That's the agreement. They said, give us 4 years. We'll come back and fight you in 4 years. So Jerome Booth Simmons never said anything else about him since they said that. Once they said that, he was like, all right, they don't want to fight me. He said 4 years. All right, whatever. He never said anything else about it.
You know what I'm saying? We'll take that fight in a heartbeat.
That's
an
you heard his
agreement.
father say he'll take that fight in a heartbeat. That's why Jerome said, my team and I got to get on the same page. He said, I take full blame of that. He said, because I should be talking to them every day and letting and finding out what's going on. He said, from now on, if you don't hear it come from me, it ain't true.
That last fight, man, I just felt like he felt like he left something on the table as far as his performance is concerned. He could have just said, man, I'll give myself a C+, or, you know, one of these generalities, these banalities that the fighters spew after they have a shaky performance, or they feel, I mean, not say a shaky performance, but a performance that they felt wasn't up to their standard. He could have just been like, man, I didn't have my best performance. I'll be back sharper next time. Wooty woo woo. But to be like, well, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is, I think it's time to go up to 154.
No, he didn't say it's time. He said maybe it's time.
The pop will be different up there. Once you start talking about how your pop is going to be different at 154 and all this other stuff, it's almost like you're alluding to being a tad bit emaciated where you are right now. You wouldn't even be mentioning your power and all that other stuff.
I mean, I don't know what was going through his head. I can't speak for him. I just look at a guy who's frustrated that nobody at none of the champions at 47 wanted to fight him, and he ended up having to fight daggone Curran again. So that's what I look at. I just look at a guy that was frustrated.
Well, whatever the reason he said what he said, and again, me personally, it makes me know, never mind. Whatever the hell he does, I hope he does whatever he needs to do for himself. But I understand how people could be looking at him saying like, well, you're talking about your pop's supposed to be different at 154. You saying maybe it's time to go up because you're 27 and so on and so forth. And then they actually double down on it in the press conference. You sound like you was all but ready to move up, and then you get something up there.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
But I'm not mad at him. It's his career, it's his life, it's his choice.
As long as he, like I said, as long as his next fight is a title fight, I'm cool with it. If his next fight is somebody that's not a title holder, then I'm gonna have to cook him.
And in reality, man, like really, what would be better on that record, man? That you beat Brian Norman Jr., no disrespect to him, or Mario Barrios, or you was a dude who took Vergil undefeated record away, while Vergil got all the steam behind him. Like it's a no-brainer. And then especially a turkey card, turkey card, he getting paid well. Come on, don't even act like you wouldn't.
Brian Norman is undefeated as well, and he got steam moving behind him right now, and he's a champion. Vergil has never even fought for a championship.
Vergil, man.
I don't care. Vergil has never even fought for a championship. The only thing we know about Vergil is ducking champions. That's the only thing we know about Vergil. The champion that he wanted to fight, he said, "All right, let's make it," and Vergil ducked him.
You sound like you in the Boots Protection Agency right now.
No,
bro.
I'm saying Vergil is not what Vergil is not
defending his reputation to the end.
Vergil is not the biggest thing out there. That's what I'm saying. It looks better to unify. You fighting somebody and you taking his O. Okay, you took his O. But what shows on your record is you was a unified champion. You took somebody's title. That looks better than taking somebody's O.
I'm saying
I can see it. If Vergil was Floyd Mayweather, then that's different. But Vergil is not a Floyd Mayweather.
He ain't got to be a Floyd Mayweather. He still would be the biggest victory on Boots' resume, and he still be a bigger victory than Brian Norman or Mario Barrios.
He very well may be the biggest name. But I don't like I said, you said what looks better. To me, what looks better as a fighter, me becoming a unified champion, than me going to a weight class and there's nothing on the line and I just beat somebody who was undefeated. Yeah, he's a name, but he's never been a champion.
And then his unified is, yeah, Brian Norman is a good fighter. I mean, as a boxing fan, I would like that one. I wouldn't mind that one. But we could talk about. But they fumbled the bag. I put this one to Eddie Hearn, fumbled the bag on that, where all you want to do is get this dude in title fights, and he let a few $100,000 come in between that. You know, take that loss from the front and get the money in the back end on these bigger fights. They fumbled the bag on that one too. They're not handling the kid right, man. They're really not.
They only had 2 fights with him.
They fumbled the bag with the Norman fight, and they fumbled.
They didn't fumble the bag. That fight couldn't happen.
Thing.
That fight couldn't happen.
That fight could have happened.
No, it cannot. Once the purse bid is done, you cannot make another fight. All that was just smoke and mirrors. That purse bid was already done. That purse bid was done in August. They couldn't make no other fight. If they would have made another fight, Boots would have lost his belt. He would have lost his belt. That fight couldn't happen. Everybody
Brian Norman could have happened for him.
The Brian Norman fight could not happen once that purse bid was done. Once current team won that purse bid, Brian Norman was off the table. He was off the table. That fight could not happen.
Yeah, he's off the table because they fumbled the bag with him. They let that opportunity slip by.
That they only offered Brian Norman, those 3 offers came after the purse bid. That very first offer they gave to Brian Norman was $700,000. Brian Norman said no. After that, they had a purse bid. Then they came back to Brian Norman because Kern then won the daggone purse bid because Eddie didn't bid on it because they didn't want the fight for Kern. They didn't want that Kern fight, so Eddie didn't bid on it. They won that purse bid. Eddie Hearn came back to the table and sent Brian Norman 3 offers after that. That fight was already set. It was already set. They couldn't have the fight.
Then what was he sending them numbers for if they couldn't have a fight? Just for fun?
No, I'm telling you, Eddie Hearn was using that to draw viewers in for the Kern fight. They bring more viewers in for the Kern fight.
Okay,
that fight was already done.
I see what you're saying now. If it was like that, but I think they handled that.
It was just smoke and mirrors, and everybody was just feeding into it. It was smoke and mirrors. That's why if you listen to, we had Brian Norman Sr. on here. He said that fight was never going to happen. Even Jerome Booth and his father even said that fight wasn't happening. We was focused on Kern. We knew what fight we had. We wasn't worried about Brian Norman. They already knew what fight was going to happen. They were just smoke and mirrors. I don't know why Brian Norman Sr. went along with it because they knew that the fight wasn't going to happen. They had a fight already lined up. Their fight was already signed and sealed. It just so happened his son got injured in camp, so that fight never happened. But they already had a fight lined up.
Well, we're gonna see what's next for Boots, man. I hope he make some kind of good fight happen, man. Because he's just too good. He's too good of a fighter to be seeing him in there taking straight right hands from Cameron, taking all them lead rights and fighting the Avanesians of the world, man. It's time to see him in some fights, man.
I mean, when it comes to Eddie Hearn, I don't like Eddie Hearn for American fighters as a promoter because he's not good with American fighters. He's good with the overseas fighters. He does good by them. But when it comes to anybody that he had that was American based, they haven't really done anything. He never got a big fight for Devin Haney. Devin Haney never got that big fight. In order for Devin Haney to get that big fight, he had to go over the top rank. He never got a big fight for Boo Boo Andrade. Once Boo Boo Andrade got that big fight, he was signed to PBC. Eddie Hearn never gave those guys those big fights.
You're right.
It's just the facts of the matter.
Can't argue with that. You on point with that one.
Well, maybe them fights would have been difficult to make, but I'll say this: the one thing I do like, as far as Devin Haney is concerned, is that they've maintained a relationship, somewhat of an open door policy. So even after he went over the top rank, he got those fights. He still let him come back, and then the Regis opportunity was there for him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he let him come back.
You
He
know,
got
Devin Haney
the
got the
Regis
fight
fight.
at 140, got the WBC strap, and that's courtesy of Eddie Hearn. So
Yeah, but that wasn't a big fight. I mean, it was a championship fight, but it wasn't a big fight. They barely cracked $1 million for that Regis Prograis fight at the live gate. It barely cracked $1 million.
yeah, but the reality is, how many big fights are there out there? Like, truly.
How many big fights are there? There's a lot of big fights that can be made. I don't know if Eddie Hearn is going to make them far as the American fighters. He make big fights for his fighters all the time.
They got a different fan base for the majority of his fighters. Them guys in the UK.
That's
That's
what I'm saying.
different.
He
People
does.
pack out the O2. I think that says more about where we are in America.
No, what I'm saying is he does. He does big fights over in the UK, not in America. He doesn't do big fights in America.
No, but what I'm saying is that says more about us over here as fans in America. When you got a guy like Teofimo Lopez, for example, this guy was a unified champion. He's fighting in the damn Hulu Theater, which is like a 5,000 seat arena.
I mean, they barely filled that up. I mean, that wasn't even full.
But that's what I'm saying.
But I think
over there in the UK, Dillian White could fight Derek Chisora, and it's going to be a packed house. There's just a rabid fan base. We shaky as hell out here.
The United States fan base, they don't just get behind just anybody. They gotta like you. If they don't like you, they're not getting behind you. Because let's look at Tank Davis. Tank Davis ain't put on all the fights that we want to see.
We're bandwagoners out here in America. That's what it comes down to. We're bandwagoners and front runners.
No, I mean, if you want to say that, I'm not gonna say that. I think they like the fighters that they like, and they dislike the fighters they don't like. I think a guy like Tank Davis, no matter who he fights, he's gonna sell out. No matter who he fights, because the fans like Tank Davis because they know he's gonna go out there and knock somebody out. They know he's gonna go out there and knock him out. T.O., you never know what you're gonna get with T.O. T.O. talk crazy 1 minute, next minute he's talking like he got some sense, and he shows that in the ring. It's the same way in the ring. 1 minute he fighting like a good boxer. The next minute T.O. act like he don't know, he don't have no skills. So they want somebody who's consistent. If you consistent, they were like, okay, we can stand behind him. He's consistent. We know what we're gonna get with him. I think that's just how they are.
It goes beyond boxing though with us in America though. It goes beyond boxing, just sports in general. A lot of times people just like whoever the champion is or whoever the most popular person is.
Yeah, I mean,
there's very
little
loyalty in that regard. It's like, yo, the second you're not this, then we just off the wave. And in boxing, it's been the same thing, even dating back to the 50s and 60s. Floyd Patterson, he did an interview where he was talking about he got more support from Sweden when he lost to Ingemar Johansson than he did in America. And that's ultimately what led him to purchasing property out in Sweden. He said he got more support in Sweden. Fan mail, people saying, oh, we're so sorry that this happened to you. You know, somebody got to win, but unfortunately it was at your expense, yada, yada, yada. And they were just like a lot more welcoming. And we see how it is. A fighter take a loss.
But I just don't think Eddie Hearn is just going to get those guys the big fight that they want, unless it's Turkey involved and Turkey putting up a big bag. The fights that those guys want, I don't think. I mean, you can look at the first fight that he was about to put on for Shakur. It was Joe Cordina. I'm like, everybody was like, man, what the hell, Joe Cordina?
Which I wasn't even really mad at, but then I also look at it like this: Joe Cordina is Eddie's guy. So if anything, if I'm Shakur Stevenson, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, I'm looking at that in a positive light. That if you are connected with Eddie, he's gonna find a way to get you some opportunities. Because we could also say this too, right? Richardson Hitchens just got his first title. He was with the money team. He was over there with Floyd. He wasn't in position to do what he just did on Saturday night. Eddie got him in position to get that IBF strap.
Yeah. No,
so
I'm not saying Eddie Hearn don't give guys opportunity. What I'm saying is he doesn't get them their big fight. I'm not saying he doesn't get them opportunities. Because he got Devin Haney was able to.
Yeah, but the matter of the fact is everybody's not going to be in big fights, so you kind of got to just get in where you fit in. That's just what it all boils down to. Certain guys are going to be stars. Other guys, they're just gonna be good pros, make their money, and hopefully they invest it well. You know what I'm saying? There's only gonna be a handful of stars out there, especially in this market, like here in the US, especially in this market.
No, it's only going. I mean, like I said, it's only going to be a handful of stars, but there's certain promoters who look out for certain individuals and other individuals they don't really care too much about. I'm just saying, Eddie Hearn, like you said, Joe Cordina was his guy. He gave a big opportunity to Joe Cordina. It wasn't a big opportunity for Shakur. It was a big opportunity for
Well,
Joe
to some
Cordina.
degree, I think it possibly could have been a big opportunity for Shakur because Shakur was over there top ranked for God knows how long, and he never had a sales history. And this was going to be his first pay per view, and he was going to be headlining. Now, regardless of, we don't know what the hell it would have did, but like, let's say if it was a success, now that kind of moves the needle a little bit for Shakur and able to be able to say like, okay, look, I did my pay per view. It did 100,000. It did 150,000. Did whatever the hell it did. We don't know what it would have done, but it was
No,
an
I mean,
opportunity to do something.
I don't know, but it could have been an opportunity for it to backfire on Shakur majorly. Because let's say Shakur went
Everything
through
is a
with the
gamble,
fight.
though. That's the thing. You don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean it is, but I'm just saying. Let's say Shakur wouldn't have got the injury he went through with that pay per view, and he was quote unquote the headline because he really wasn't, but he was for the pay per view portion of the fight. I mean of the card. Let's say he went through and did that, and it did 35,000 pay per view buys. Not only was it a cheap pay per view, I think it was like what $25 or $40, something like that. Not only was it a cheap pay per view, but you only do 35,000. It's like it's a bad look. That's the reason why daggone David Benavidez went from being a headline on a pay per view to being on the undercard of Tank Davis to build up his name because he headlined his first pay per view by himself and they did 35,000. They were like, "Oh, you can't make no money like this.
Yeah,
We gotta
and
build
you
your
go
name
back
back
to the
up."
drawing board and you just build up the cachet. And you just keep building it and keep building it and keep building it. So I
Yeah,
don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
he had to go
But
back and
but
fight
again,
as Tank Davis
just as he
co-main.
could have possibly sold 35,000, could have possibly sold over 100,000, or who
Yeah,
the
I
hell
mean,
knows?
You
he
got to
could
keep
have.
this
We'll
in
never
mind,
know
though,
because it didn't take
and
place. But
you got to keep one thing in mind. Fans like D Freedom understand how they used to build fighters. You used to have the Olympics. So from the Olympics, then they would have, what they would call showcase fights. But something happened in boxing where all you started seeing was top guys that you seen coming up only in showcase fights. And now we still seeing that where you see guys in fights that they're tailor made to look good in. Like that's the whole good thing about Turkey Sandwich. You seeing guys getting these fights that they normally wouldn't fight because it's the cool thing now to go in there and bang. You seen Vergil Ortiz back in the past. Oh, well, it was Robert Garcia. So, we need 48 months. Now you see him saying, oh, I want Juan Ennis. You would have never got Boacek before Turkey Alice Sheik came in the game. You would have never got Big Baby Anderson fighting Martin Bacoli before Turkey got in the game. So we do got to understand this. Pay-per-view sales are good. But I thought David did a good job. He went in there with a Demetrius Andre that nobody knows but hardcore fans. He sold 35,000. It wasn't a lot, but then guess what? He got on there with Tank. He did a little bit better. I think we got to understand everybody's not going to do 40, 50,000. If you don't realize that boxing is a niche sport, we're crazy at this point. So
No,
what you're saying makes true. Hold on, Fred. I'll let you go. I think the thing that we got to really focus on in boxing is building our stars. 35,000 is good. Wallow and
no, it's
Gilly
not.
did 35,000 and they
No, it's not.
made $255,000. This is what
No,
they took home.
no,
So it
that's
just
not good.
hold on, bro. You've been talking. Let me finish. I think it's great for the sport when you going out here trying to do it. Because I'm gonna tell you something as somebody who's out there every day talking to people about boxing. Boxing has no schedule. Boxing's not like the UFC. Every time you see a boxing match, mainly PBC, It's like a damn going out of shell fight. It's everything must go. We all done been by them buildings that say store closing, everything must go. We can't have that in boxing. That's why PBC did better with Fox because you were seeing more of their guys. At the end of the day, say what you want. Tank look like he ain't want to be. He ain't want to be up there with no Lamont Roach. Come on, bro. You know what would have been a good fight for Tank if Tank was at 140 fighting Josh Catterall or fighting what's that guy's name? Connor Ben. That would have been
Why?
different. You want to
That
see?
wasn't.
Hold on. The thing I'm saying that's big is you want to see guys in there with a challenge. Say what you want, Ant-Man, you watch boxing to death, bro. You know that Lamont Roach doesn't have a real opportunity to beat Tank. He might look good for a while, but he's going to bed. And if he don't go to bed, guess what? He's gonna get beat up. I'm so tired of seeing fights where you already know what's going to happen. You know how exciting it was to see Brian Castano versus my favorite fighter, Jamel Charlo? Because Jamel, in my opinion, lost the first fight. Came back, knocked him out. You see what I'm saying? That's what we missing in boxing. There's no parity. Everything is over. What is that? Everything is really overmatched. I remember Deontay Wilder when he fought Robert Helenius fight. That whole card was trash because everybody was overmatched. Boxing has an overmatch problem. Stop trying to match guys, man, and put guys in there with guys who can fight. But I'm gonna let y'all go on. I just had to say, shout out to Ant for actually keeping it real, man. We know my man D Free is corporate. Salute.
We know you don't know the shit about boxing. But the thing is, you talking about 35,000 is good. No, it's not
Yeah,
good.
you say
I'm,
that, but you say that, but
I'm
all
telling you, I'm telling you that it's not good because of the simple fact is he was a headliner. That's how they use you.
name.
They
Go ahead.
use your numbers. Listen what I'm saying. They use your numbers for negotiation. If you selling 35,000, you can't take that to negotiation table and say, "Hey, I deserve to get this amount." They're gonna say, "Okay, let's see what your numbers were in your fights," and they look at 35,000. I'm like, "You only sold 35,000 on a headliner. How you figure you worth this amount of money when you only giving us this amount?" They look at that number. That's what they use to negotiate the fight. They got to look at the number. So what you do is, what I'm saying is, it's not good because it wasn't supposed to be a pay-per-view fight. It was supposed to be a free TV fight. That's what it was supposed to be. But because these guys want big money, PBC will say, "Okay, you want big money, you got to go out there and sell that fight. If you don't sell the fight, whatever you get is what you get." So that's why I'm saying it's not good because they use those numbers in negotiations. When you saying it's good because he did 35,000 on his first pay-per-view, that's good. No, it's not, because that's going to come back to bite him when he try to negotiate for another bigger fight and they say, "Oh, I want this amount." Well, how much have you sold in pay-per-views? Well, I did 35,000. Well, this guy is doing 450,000 in pay-per-view, so he should get bulk of the money. That's what I'm saying. It's not good.
Hey, Cuban Tommy, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, champ.
I don't know, Cuban Tommy. So let me ask you this,
He's still
Cuban
here.
Tommy. You remember
We
when we
we
heard
we hear him.
Canelo say, remember, hey, Cuban Tommy, remember when they said, remember when Canelo said, "I want $200 million"? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he's somebody won that
And then we
for
look
Dave
up,
Benavidez.
it's for David Benavidez, right? Then we look up and see there's a $190 million combined purse for Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Don't nobody care about that fight, bro. It's not even for undisputed. So the thing that's so funny is they said Canelo was greedy, he was a hungry dog, he was trying to do that. If you pay these dudes, they will fight. And you know what's so you know what? I'm gonna take a lot of flack for this. I know I am, Tommy. I know I'm gonna take it because I do not like a Teofimo Lopez who's a known racist. It just blows my mind. You hear him say stuff that he wants to be great. You know what? I want to fight Boots. I want to fight Javante. I want to fight Terrence. I want to fight Terrence Crawford. And what do hardcore fans say? Oh, he's clout chasing. Man, if you don't shut up and let this man be great, you think people don't even realize that my man Sugar Ray fought for light heavyweight what was it at 170 or 160? Guys got to challenge themselves, man. And if you don't challenge yourself, we don't know what you could do. We just don't know. Vergil Ortiz, say what you want about him. Guess what? He fighting the big fights now. We could talk about what he did 4 years ago, 5 years ago. It don't matter. He was in there with Boacek and arguably lost. Got dropped once. I mean, arguably lost that fight, but he was in it. We ain't seen Boots Ennis hit nobody with nobody like Boacek. He ain't never been in there with nobody like that. And then on
That's
top
a
of that,
fact.
the man signs for Israel Magimov. He signs for Israel Magimov. Tommy, come on, man. That's not no dude that's scared. That's not no dude that's ducking and hiding. If you want to bring up old stuff, that's fine. You got Jerron Ennis in there with them kids, man. Brian Norman Jr., baby. Jaleel Hackett, baby. Brian Senionis, okay. Barrios, okay. But come on, man. You want to fight the kids? You don't want to
No, he
be great,
ain't
man.
say
Or you
nothing
would have
about
fought
fighting
Virgil.
Jaleel Hatchett. He ain't say nothing
If you
about
want,
fighting Jaleel Hatchett or none of them. He only talking about
no,
fighting the
I'm talking
champion.
about. I'm giving you the 147. Listen, I'm giving you the
I don't care.
147-pound
Those guys
division.
doesn't matter.
It
Only
don't
people
matter
that
what you
matter
care
is the
about.
champion. The only thing that matters is
Listen
the
to what I'm
champions,
saying.
none of those kids. None of those people you name outside of the champions does not matter. None of
Every
those matter.
championship don't
Yeah, think
carry
about it.
weight, man.
Hold on 1 second. Let me say this. Let me say this real quick, Free. I'm bringing that up because my dear friend Bernard Hackett said that's a fight he wants. So
I
it
don't
don't
care
matter
what he
what you
wants.
say.
I don't care
Listen.
what
You
he
don't have
wants.
to care, but I
I
care.
don't I
I
don't
care
care what
because
he I don't care what he wants. I don't care
listen.
what he
You don't
wants
have
because
to
that's
care, but
not
I
the
do
fight
care
that Boots
because
won.
listen to what I'm saying. I care because I think that'll be a good fight. I
No, it
want to
won't.
see my dear friend. I want to see my dear friend's son get opportunity. At the end of the
No,
day, this
listen
is
what
what
I'm
it
saying.
boils down to.
I don't
Hold on. Let me
care
finish. I'll
about
let you
what
go. I promise. I will be quiet after I get done. I think the thing that's so sad about all this is this. We doing all this ducking and talking about Boots. He's a freaking duck. If it was Tio that did this, if it was Brian Garcia who did this, if it was anybody who people don't like, it would be a huge deal. You got Jerron Ennis in the car with my guy YSM, who I've had on the show, salute to YSM, on the show in the car talking about, oh, I was heated.
Are you done? Because I don't hear you no more.
I think he's done.
I guess he's done. I don't hear him no more. I guess he's
He
done.
just dropped off the face of the earth real
Hold on
quick.
1 second. Can y'all hear me? I'm about to hit the
Yeah, we
wrong
can hear you
button.
now.
I say this. I'm gonna tell you what's hard, Tommy. I'm gonna tell you what's hard. Getting up every morning at 6 a.m., 4 a.m. when you gotta go train. Me getting up at 5 a.m. going to work. Be free back when he was out in the field, getting up, going to work. That's hard. We ask you to do something that you say that you love and you don't want to do it. Shut up and get out of here. I'm so glad, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm so glad about the new young fighters coming. My guy Tim Witherspoon 3. We got guys like my man Sharif O'Neill. We got guys like Brian Norman Jr. We got so many young guys that's coming that want to fight. All these dudes doing all that yapping and talking. Get out of here. Jerron Ennis is a duck. He ain't fought nobody. He's 27 years old, ain't fought nobody. Guess what? He's it's just the same old thing we keep getting. We keep making excuses for guys we like, but if we don't like him, well, he's a duck. He's this and that. But guess what? You know, they talk about my dude from Chris Colbert. They talk about my dude Chris Colbert getting knocked out. But guess what? Chris Colbert got nuts. He went in there with El Rayo, man, and fought him. We ain't seen Jerron Ennis in no 50-50 fight. Come on, bro. Virgil called you out. You didn't take it. Now shut up. That's how I feel, man. And I'll be honest with you, Cuban Tommy. I just think more fighters got to understand we are the boss as the fans. If you don't want our money, that's okay. But don't sit here doing all this crying, telling us you want our money, blah blah blah, this and that. Because you got a challenge. You think Chance Crawford want to fight Canelo? No. But that's the fight that's gonna make him the money. That's the fight if he wins, it's gonna make him a GOAT. I mean, I don't know, Tom. I'm telling you, fans with that
BBO, what are
mindset.
you talking about?
Basically, what I'm
Terrence
telling you is,
Terrence
basically,
Crawford definitely wants to fight
hold on,
Canelo.
you missing what I'm
He
saying. You
definitely
missing what I'm
wants to
saying.
fight
What I'm
Canelo. What are you
saying
talking
is,
about?
he wants to be great. That's something that you probably don't understand. He wants to be great.
No, what you don't
Great
understand is
fighters want to
he
do
know
what they.
that's the big money fight. He's at the end of his career. He wants that major money fight so he can go out and say, you know what, I ain't got to fight no more. I'm done. He wants that
But
major
guess what?
fight.
He's
That's why.
taking a fight though, Free. He's taking a tough
Okay,
fight.
so what are you talking
It's
about?
a
He
tough.
doesn't want to
You
fight. He does.
listen. You missing what I'm saying. What I'm saying
No,
is
you missing
that's
what
not.
I'm saying.
Listen. He would want to fight. He would want to probably fight a guy close to his
Dog,
weight. I'm sure.
listen,
But he's
listen,
going to
dog,
get the money. At
dog.
the end of the day, listen.
Like I
This ain't
said,
got Free. This ain't got
hold
to be a
up.
debate
Listen,
show.
let me
I'm
finish saying what
telling
I'm
you.
saying. Let me
You've been
finish saying what
talking.
I'm
Let me
saying.
say this. Let me
No,
say this,
you've
and
been
I'm done.
talking.
I'm a. I'm
All
gonna
right.
let you talk after I get done. I'll say this. No
You say
matter
what?
how
I'm
it
sorry.
goes, these weak fighters who don't want to take on tough fights, Tommy, are ruining my favorite sport, and I hate it. Ennis is a duck. I don't want to hear nothing about him until he fights somebody. And
Well,
I'm
then
done. Go ahead, Free.
you the one that made the thumbnail with him in it. You don't want to hear nothing about him. Take him out the thumbnail. You brought the thumbnail up.
Salute to my man Tim Layton.
No, the whole thing is like I said from the very beginning. As long as he's fighting another champion, I have no problem with him not going to 54 to fight Vergil. If he fights somebody other than a champion, then yes, he's going to be a duck, and I'm gonna roast him. But as long as he's fighting another champion, the man is doing what he said he was going to do. He wants to unify the belts at 47. As long as he's fighting the champions. I don't know how many times I got to say it. As long as he's fighting the champions and nobody else. If he fights somebody else other than a champion, he is a duck and he will get roasted. I don't know. See, BBO go with this one thing and he sticks to that thing like it can't be anything else. So when a man stands on his word, that's a bad thing. But if a man jumps around and say, I want to fight this guy, I want to fight that guy, I want to fight that guy, and he goes out and fights Steve Claggett, oh, see, he wants to fight all these guys, but he ain't fighting nobody. He just says who he wants to fight, but he ain't fighting nobody. But he gets praised for that from BBO. But I go by the people that stand on their word and follow behind what they say they're going to do. Long as that man is fighting a champion, I'm going to stand behind him. But if he goes fight somebody other than a champion at 47, then he's going to get roasted.
Every championship, man, is not the same, and I think Boots
Fact.
is starting to enter the territory of being a Jaime Munguia type of champion with a Jaime Munguia type of hyped up record. He getting real close to that.
I mean, yeah, if he fights somebody other than a champion, See, the problem is, like, this man has set a goal for his career. One of his goals in his career was to be undisputed at 47. Well, he's one step closer to being undisputed at 47. All he got to do is get the other champions to line up. If they don't line up, the man said, if they don't want to fight me, then I will go to 54. Let's let the man make a decision. Let's see what his next fight is before we say, oh, this man is just a straight duck. Because if he's fighting another champion, he's doing what he said he was going to do. We didn't go against Earl Spence when he said, I'm going to get all these belts on this side, and once I finish, I'm going to go get Bud Crawford. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. He fought all the guys on his side, got all those belts on his side, and then he went and fought Bud Crawford last. So if we can stand behind Earl Spence when he's doing that, we can stand behind Jerron Ennis saying what he's going to do, as long as he doesn't go outside of what he said he was going to do.
You forgot one thing though, D Free. T.O. fought Loma when he was 23, so he get a lifetime pass. He could do whatever the hell he want to do from here on out, according to
Right.
BVO. He
Right.
could do whatever he want to do from here on out.
Right.
He fought Loma when he was 23 years old.
Right. That was his Super Bowl of his career. He didn't have to do nothing else after that. But no, I'm real big on people's word, and I'm a hold them to their word. I'm not going to jump on him because he's staying true to his word. If you stand true to your word, I can't do nothing but respect that because you stand true to it. Like I said, as long as you don't go outside of what you said you were going to do, when you start to go outside, like I said, the only way I would see him fight somebody other than the champions if he's still at that weight class and he has to fight another mandatory before he can unify one of those other belts. Right now, he doesn't have any mandatories, so his next fight should be a champion. He don't have any other mandatories right now. So as long as he's fighting a champion, I have no problem with it. I'm gonna hold a man to his word. Once you start to show me something other than what you said you were gonna do, then I gotta go at you.
So, question: in order for him to go undisputed, he'd have to face who? Norman, Barrios, and Stanionis.
Yes, yes.
And then chances are, you're not going to get them 3 shots in a row. You're going to have to defend against somebody at least once. They're going to stick with a mandatory somewhere in there.
No, he don't, because undisputed trumps mandatory.
Okay.
Undisputed trumps mandatory. Now, a rematch don't trump mandatory. Like if he goes and he fights somebody and they got a rematch clause, no, he has to fight that mandatory if there's a mandatory waiting to be called. For the IBF. The IBF, they're gonna hold you to that mandatory. As long as you're not unifying the belt and you got a mandatory ready to be called, the IBF is gonna hold you to that mandatory. They don't care about no rematch clauses or none of that. But if he's unifying the belt, the IBF is gonna sit on the side and let you unify the belt. Once you unify it, a mandatory is gonna be hit automatically. The same way they did with Jamel, the same thing they did with Bud. As soon as they got the undisputed titles, they got hit with a mandatory right away. It wasn't no time in between and none of that. That's why Boots got the belt now, because Boots was called as the mandatory right after Earl and Bud had their undisputed fight. The same reason why Tim Tszyu got his belt, because he was called the mandatory right away after Jamel Charlo beat Brian Castano.
I was just thinking about now as you was explaining that, man, that if let's just say he could get them 3 fights lined up in a row to go undisputed. If he crying about making weight now in his last fight, you think it's going to get easier as each fight go? Do we really think he got 3 more fights in him at 147? I think that's a legit question.
I don't care nothing about none of that. All that's on him. That's on him. He the one said he wanted to get undisputed at 47. So if he stay at that weight class too long and he get beat up like Earl did against Bud, that's on him. That's his fault.
Don't blame that ass whipping on EJ weight. Don't blame it on the weight.
No, Earl made weight, but he also didn't look like Earl when he went in that ring.
Yeah, and everybody said excuses for that, man. That man got his ass.
I'm not making no excuses, but I mean I know that man been in that weight class too long. I know he's been in that weight class too long.
Errol Spence Jr. looked just like Errol Spence Jr. always looked for 2 rounds until he got knocked on his ass. No, he looked just like he always did.
His last I gotta say this. His last 3 fights post the car accident, he looked different from there.
Yeah, he looked very different.
It wasn't even just like the making weight, it was all that stuff. Because if you watch him prior to the car accident, he's always had somewhat of an issue with overextending, reaching, and all that stuff. But he still had better command over his motor functions. He was able to steady himself when he would reach a little bit. But the last 3 fights, his balance, it looked pretty.
Yeah, and Bud get all the credit for it. It's no credit taken for Bud.
I give Bud all the credit.
He did
like I always say,
what he
man,
was supposed to do. He went in there and beat
that Bud's nickname, Belt the Ass? That should be Bud's nickname.
It ain't the fighter's responsibility to make sure that everything is on the up and up with his opponent. Right. It's on the opponent to make sure that
exactly what he's supposed to do. So I give Bud his pride. He went in there, saw a wounded animal, and he whooped his ass. He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
I've seen Errol Spence go out there, start out doing the things Errol Spence always do. I've seen Errol Spence making the same mistakes he always makes. The difference was he was making them mistakes and paying for it at the hands of a great champion, and he's never felt no shots like that broke his ass down like that. That's what happened, man. Let's not.
I mean, you saw it the way you saw it. I saw it the way I saw it. I'm not taking no credit from Bud. Bud did exactly what he was supposed to do, and he won that fight. He stopped Earl Spence, the first man to ever do it. I'm not taking nothing from him. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to Jerome Buzenis, if he stayed at that weight class and he has trouble making weight and he goes in there and he gets beat up or he gets stopped because he went to the well one too many times, like a few other guys did in their career. If you go to the well one too many times and he gets beat up because he should have went ahead and moved out, that is on him. I don't care.
That's fair.
As long as he got his ass whooped by a champion. If you get your ass whooped by a regular dude, even before you get your ass whooped by a regular dude, I'm on your ass anyway because you said you was fighting a champion and now you fighting some regular dude. So you get your ass whooped by a regular dude, so be it. You're gonna get beat up twice. You're gonna get beat up in the ring and you're gonna get beat up here on YouTube.
You know what was
You
disrespectful,
know the cool
man?
thing I'll say. You know what I say, Tommy, that get me, man. Shout out to Bozy Ennis, man, because we've been, communicating back and forth, trying to set something up, man. He's been real busy. But you know what? The one thing I will say about Bozy, man, he's a real good brother. And I just hate to say it, man. His son ain't that, brother. His son ain't that. And I think that's the hardest thing in the world to really say you ain't that. Because guess what? Vergil Ortiz fought Boacek. About to fight Majimov. Guys from Boots' era is moving up and moving on, doing big things, man. So,
all right, let me ask you this question, though, BBO, because you mentioned Boacek several times. Who the hell has Boacek beat that we keep saying, well, he beat Boacek?
Nobody.
Boacek, I would say Boacek, I wouldn't say he beat him, but I would say the guy has over 400 amateur fights. When he came to the States, he was a two-time national champion. I don't think people realize when you're a national champion in amateur boxing, that means you're special. So that's why I kind of pay attention to the amateurs more than most. That's why I'm saying that. Because what I see in the amateurs.
But what has he done in the pros?
Wait, but hold on.
In the pros, go ahead.
I don't know, because I'm noticing all these dudes who got these 250, 300 amateur fights, 400 amateur fights. They come off the rip. They are a problem for everybody off the rip. It don't matter who they face in the pros. They always a problem. Majimov was another example of that. Loma was an example of that. Andy Cruz is an example of that. We see this all the time.
Well, Loma wasn't a problem right off the rip. It was a problem.
Yes, he was.
His second. No, he got his ass whooped.
No. He ain't taking no one-sided ass whipping. He went to war. That was a razor-thin fight.
He got his ass whooped.
In his second professional bout.
He got his ass whooped.
He ain't getting his ass
whooped. Then he went in there and beat the dog crap out of Gary Russell.
Why you hate Loma, man? What he did to you, bro?
He got his ass whooped.
Nah, man. I watched
the fight multiple times. He got his ass whooped. Because I was expecting to see because everybody was like, oh, Loma this, Loma that. So I was expecting to see some great dude because I never heard of Loma, and I realized why, because it was only his second fight. But everybody was hyping him up like.
What he doing his third fight?
Dude.
What he doing his third fight? He went in there and beat Gary Russell's ass. You tell me that's not great? You tell me that's not a problem in your third professional fight, Gary Russell Jr.
No, he beat Gary Russell in his third fight. Yes, he did.
So that's in your third fight when you beating a prime Gary Russell Jr. That is some incredible shit, man. Are you kidding me?
No, you act like
Gary only Russell, give credit to people that they like. You act like
Gary Russell was the Gary Russell that we seen in his later years. Gary Russell was young at that time too. Gary Russell wasn't. He wasn't the Gary Russell that we
he was
know
actually better back then than he was
6 years.
He was way better back then, and it wasn't his third pro fight either.
No, it wasn't his third pro fight.
He was way. He's like 20-something fight. He was way better. He was way better back then. Like the guy he was old, he had the skills, but he wasn't fighting nobody. I'm gonna put it like this: no matter how you do it, we always.
No, he was fighting. He was fighting people. What are you talking about? He was fighting his mandatories. He was fighting his mandatories.
Well, let me say this: we always play this stupid game. Hold on, let me say this. We always play this stupid game about who guys didn't fight. I'm gonna put it like this, man. When you get into these fights, man, people trying to take your head off, man. Shout out to my man Amir Mansour, good friend of the channel. I don't know if you guys remember Amir Mansour. He was a heavyweight, fought out of Philadelphia, became the WBC Gold silver champion. Never got his shot because he beat guys he wasn't supposed to beat. So boxing has politics, man. We've seen Tevin Farmer put on one of the best fights of his life and get it taken from him. So you can say whatever you want. It's really about who has the big promoter, who's favored, and who's the guy. I mean, what was my guy Coffee who was knocking people out he wasn't supposed to beat? and they were doing everything they can to block Coffee, man. So it is what it is, man. Martin Bacoli been blackballed. He been blackballed. He get in there with Jared Ennis, and all of a sudden now they think like he's a new guy. This dude been doing that. I just think
he wasn't blackballed. He just didn't have no promoter.
No, he was blackballed because of who his manager was. His
he didn't
manager
have
was
no
caught
promoter.
up in that David Kinahan. You're not listening. His manager was caught in that David Kinahan scandal with the Mafia, International Mafia. So he had a lot of issues, bro. If you got a doggone the UK authorities on your manager, come on, bro. They're not gonna do no business with you.
No,
that's what
I'm
it was.
saying is
He was involved with David Kinahan.
Daniel Cunningham was his promoter. He had no promoter once Daniel Cunningham was on the run. That's what I say. He didn't have no promoter.
Kinahan.
I mean,
the David Kinahan, the mob dude.
Yeah, I know.
The one
Daniel Cunningham.
Yeah. Kinahan had Tyson Fury for a minute. Tyson Fury was banned from the States. What I'm saying is
Tyson
this.
Fury
Boxing
wasn't
is
banned
nothing
from the
more.
sport. Tyson Fury just
No, he was banned from the
no
States. Yeah, he couldn't come to America. But I'm basically saying is this. No matter how it goes, you got to have certain connections to even have a career in boxing. It's just that simple. We heard Gary Russell say something about Floyd and lost his whole career.
He didn't say nothing about Floyd.
Boxing ain't fair, man.
He just wanted to fight Tank. He kept pressing the Floyd to fight Tank. He didn't say anything about Floyd. He was talking about Tank. And Floyd didn't want him to fight Tank.
Tank was his money. But I gotta say this, man. That's why I love the BVO Boxing channel, man. Because we get on here, we got different opinions. We got Cuban Tommy who been hiding from the brothers. Usually, he don't like to hang out with the brothers, man. But shout out to Cuban Tommy coming through. I told him I had a Puerto Rican over here, but shout out to Cuban Tommy, man. Definitely shout out to my man. And you know what? Everybody don't know this. D-Free is my brother, man. He's a crazy mofo, but the brother knows boxing, and he's probably one of the funniest people on YouTube. I don't think people know that boy Puerto Rican Free is a goofball, man. But like I said, man, we doing some big things over here at BBO Boxing, man. Don't forget to Crush the Legend Show. We're going to work better to more or less get my man some better Wi-Fi. I'm going to send him something so he can help with his Wi-Fi. So we're doing some big things. We'll be back tomorrow. On Wednesday, we got Bernard Hackett. On Thursday, Flint, Michigan. She's supposed to be coming on Thursday. And Friday, we got an open panel. D-Free going to see if they got some real smoke. Calling D-Free out, but niggas be scared to step two. D-Free is going to be there on Friday for the open panel. So if you got nuts and you want to step to the great debater, he going to be there on Friday. So don't run from him. All those boys you talk about, I'm a cook free. Friday, you're going to get your chance. And we got y'all. Shout out to my big brother Bruce Gas, man. Shout out to my big brother Bruce Gas. And let me play this before we get out of here, man.
The JBT is back at it again, y'all. This time, amazing raffle for the holidays. Replenish the pocket. Sometimes things go grim and, you spend a little bit more than you anticipated, but we're here to help you out. $5 to get you in, $20 to get you in 5 times for winner takes half. Hold on. I didn't know that was the details, y'all. Hold on. Cut.
Hey, Remo.
Hey, yo, Karen, why y'all ain't let me know that the prize was winner takes half? Now, this is dope.
It's been running for some time now, silly.
Is JBT a content creators ought to get into this?
Absolutely not. Are you crazy?
No.
Nope.
Wow, that's crazy.
No content creator, just JBT supporters, sorry.
Whatever. Bye. Like I was saying, $5 to get you in 1 time, $20 to get you in 5 times. Winner takes half. You can't win if you don't play, man. Jump in the raffle. JBT Network 1 is the way you get in. Leave your name and the means of contact. And enjoy the holidays on us, JBT.
Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, I give you BVO.
That's it. Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know. Shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know. Every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know. I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show. This is BVO.